Hello and welcome to the Jeff Ahern Show. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already, please check me out at jeffahern.com, where I do all my weekly news bits. And you can see all other stuff there, like where I'll be performing, doing stand-up, and all sorts of various. Catch me in my element, doing jujitsu or something. By the way, my arm hurts from that. It's a lot of fun. And it hurts. Everyone in jiu-jitsu's got injuries, but we're just suckers for it. We just keep coming, keep rolling till the wheels fall off. That's my jiu-jitsu motto. I don't know that it's approved by any legitimate jiu-jitsu association. So let's talk about what's going on in the news. Joe Biden. It's like every time I say Joe Biden, I immediately have to follow up either mentally or audibly, just going. It's like an exhale. Conscious or subconscious, or you're just like, oh dear God, like how I think there's a lot in the exhale. Like the exhale is like, how has the country gotten this backwards? How have people lost their minds to this degree? There's a lot in just a puff of air, and it's all there every time we go Joe Biden, and whatever he did, or whatever someone else told him to do, and he signed off on, and then just read off a teleprompter. So yes, Mr. Biden. Biden administration may target artificial intelligence with woke agenda. Well, first of all, that's already happened. That it's been proven. It's been proven. It's a fact, I say. So Chat GPT, which first I was like, oh, this is really cool. And it is. It's going to replace everybody. So it's not cool in that regard. I mean, if your job is creative, it's pretty creative. It's probably as creative as at least half of us out there, myself included. And the gist of the story that I read on ChatGPT, because I was all set to use it. I'm like, okay, well, let me try it. Let me use it. This could be good for when I'm coming up with headlines for things or, titles for news bits. I'm like, this could really be a useful tool. And I'm like, let's see, everyone's raving about it. So I go in there and then I started reading all this stuff about it where ChatGPT, if you asked it to say something nice about Trump, it wouldn't. It would refuse to do it. But if you asked it to like wax nostalgic or come up with a poem about Joe Biden, you would just get this beautiful sonnet, this glorious tale of this miraculously brilliant leader that we have. I mean, so the fix was in. The fix was in at the artificial intelligence level. With where you and there was other things like I think Marjorie, they wouldn't say anything good about her. It's like. And they would at one point, they would actually say why Trump was so great. Like you could be like, hey, ChatGPT, tell me, write me a paragraph on why Trump is so great or whatever it was. And then they disallowed it. That's the left, man. There is no free speech. Even artificial intelligence has been usurped, at least ChatGPT, by the left. There was another one that they did, which I also found fascinating, where they said, would it be better to allow a nuclear explosion to go off, killing potentially millions, or to drop the N-bomb, or they didn't say N-bomb, to use a racial slur. And they're like, you're better off using this. You're better off nuking wherever you're going to nuke. That's the lesser of the two. Meanwhile, I'm like, well, tell that to rappers, it's like every other word. I'm reading this thing and I'm like, dear God, I was going to use this. I'm like, this is great. This is amazing technology. And the left already, because they have such control over tech, just in general, certainly social media and the technology sector overall is heavily liberal, has already put the fix in. So you're still being guided towards their predetermined conclusions that they want you to come to, just like our media does. So ChatGPT is a bunch of hogwash. Unless you're a leftist, in which case, yeah, you're good for you. It'll say anything you want. But hopefully, much the way Musk has come in and taken Twitter back from the leftists, and places like Rumble where you can have free speech as well. Maybe there will be an artificial intelligence that will be an open platform, Democrat, open platform where everyone's opinion is valued at the same level, and opinions aren't algorithmed out of existence simply because they don't believe with a woke leftist ideology. Just saying, could be an interesting world if we lived it. You might get more done. Mark's got a bunch of stuff here about ChatGPT. I was excited about ChatGPT, but then I'm like, well, this is just leftist. It's more leftist propaganda, basically. I mean, I guess if you say, hey, give me a good recipe for a peach cobbler, or sing me a song about mountain streams, it's probably still pretty good. But as soon as you get anything remotely political or questionable things where there's a left side and a right side, it's going to go heavy on the left and not even make up anything on the right. And it doesn't like Trump. So Mark says, wait a minute. If you ask ChatGPT about naming famous black engineers, it probably can't find them or something like that. I don't think so. I mean, it's got an encyclopedic knowledge. I think it would be very easy for it to find black engineers. I don't think that would be an issue. But ChatGPT already has made some great songs. Yeah, I would agree with that. ChatGPT, I mean, with auto-tune these days, you could just have ChatGPT write you this amazing Grammy-winning song, and then you go into some studio and they make your voice sound good. And as long as you're young enough and look cute or pretty enough, you'll do well. Sorry, I don't want to be sizeist or ageist or whatever. People like what they like. Open platform, isn't that Clubhouse? Clubhouse was that was really maybe it's still popular. That was very big in the COVID days. Remember those a couple weeks ago? Still going on for some Democrats. If you walk in a grocery store, they're still wearing their masks. But so Clubhouse and Discord, they were they would have groups that would get together. But I'm pretty sure you would get kicked out of the group if you weren't whatever right or left, and that group was right or left. And even if it was like a theatrical group or something like that, if you were on the right, I'm sure they'd boot you if they found out. But that wouldn't be the platform. That would be the members of the group. So that's different. That's completely different. There have been some racist comments about ChatGPT. Really? I don't know. Is ChatGPT racist? I don't think it's, I wouldn't say it's racist. I'd say it's leftist. Well, that's kind of the same thing. Just saying. Hiring based on skin color, racist. What does the left do? A lot, especially for Joe Biden. Joe Biden actually said, the next person I hire is going to be a woman, so sexist. And there is no such thing as a woman, Joe, remember? And also African American, so racist. So he's hiring off sex and race first. That's what mattered the most. And then if they could do the job, whatever. And she could. I don't know. She might be really good. But as I've said before, it'd be more of a coincidence if she was than actually something that was sought out in the candidate to begin with. This is the world. This is the after you say Joe Biden, it's all this. And it's not just Biden. It's just the whole leftist circus going on where you just you can't say anything that isn't pre-approved by the state-run media or by the state through woke algorithms that circulate throughout the internet. Oh, hey, what's up?
I have to teach you about a couple of things. One is every time you get a president, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat, they all try to get their special interest, and the special interest might be race-based or women-based. Even Trump picked some folks that were of a particular gender or particular race because he was trying to match his constituency. So I think
did he say that? Did he say though, I'm picking this person based on their race?
I think he implied it. I think he implied it.
He might have been implied, but Biden flat out said it.
Well, that's true. Biden might have said that.
Maybe he implied it. I don't know if he implied it.
But it has been applied. I mean, Nixon did it. Ford did it. Everybody's done it.
I think it's wrong. I think you take off race and sex off the resume. You look at it and you hire the best person for the job. That's the way it should be. And
that would be the blind resume thing. But sometimes they do those blind resume tests, and sometimes there are people that have their biases that are part of their family, so they might even look for the name, and they see something that is like a German name or a Swiss name, and they're like, I'm going to hire that person. So there have been actually studies that have been done about that. So the whole notion of the blind resume isn't always the case, because sometimes people will look at your hobbies. You play basketball, You might be a brother.
How disappointed would they be if you had all say black stereotypical hobbies, and you walked in the door and you were just like Larry Bird?
Exactly. There's Larry Bird coming in there.
I hired Larry Bird for state senate. All right.
Your boy Tim Scott said that he's thinking about running for president. So who knows? Maybe we're going to have President Scott, because he's definitely got a exploratory committee going on. So yes, Tim Scott
he's going in. I don't think he's going to get it, but at least not this time around. Maybe in the future. I mean, it's right now. It's it's obviously you got Trump, DeSantis, Nikki Haley, and then you got the rest. That's kind of where I see the field right now. And the Democrats right now are building Trump up through all these nonsensical investigations. This New York one's a bogus piece of garbage, and then they're gonna do more. So like when this one fails, they're gonna some other prosecutor somewhere else is gonna try and get him on. And all they're doing is just keeping him in the news cycle and perpetuating his campaign and building momentum just out of anger from people who might not have even who would have been more supportive of DeSantis or say Haley, but they're like, this is absurd. This is police state tactics, banana republic tactics, and they're going to get mad. So that the Democrats are their own worst enemy when they're trying to get rid of Trump by building him up, in whether they realize it or not. It's that's what's happening.
Yeah, that's just true. So we'll let you get back to your news. But the other thing I was going to say is, yes, there have been some studies that were done about ChatGPT. I do have some friends in that space, and yes, there have been some reports where they have asked it questions and it has given blatantly racist answers and everything. So it's not even like
I don't approve of that on any level. I'm more get angry when it limits my politics. When it tells me, who I could ask to write a song about. A nice one.
It might even tell you that. It might be like, no, you can't write a song about that person. You have to write about that person.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I did. I'll have to forward you I did it a while back, maybe a couple months ago, but I'll forward you the news thing I did on it, so you can have it. Maybe play it sometime. I don't know.
Cool. Yeah, we would love to play it. We love playing your stuff, Jeff. It's all the time.
I appreciate it. I'm gonna say I'll put that in the bundle. I'll put that in the packet.
Put that in the packet. But yes, that's been some things around ChatGPT. I may be back, but I had to bug.
No, please do. If you don't stop me, I'll just keep. It's a balance. Sometimes I need a balance. All right. The Trump innuendo thing was interesting. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Let's get to the news here. Non-binary X. This guy's in the news again. This, if you remember, and again, Mark, this kind of goes back to what you were saying, what we were just talking about. Biden hiring based on sexual orientation and race first, rather than ability. Ability is not even, I wouldn't even say secondary. It's often they don't even care. It's just, you look at the hires. For example, this Yutz, non-binary and I don't know what to even call him because he's non-binary. I guess they like they. I don't know. They like they, I guess. Non-binary ex-Biden energy official learns fate from luggage theft case. So this is like a nuclear. He had a crazy long title, like head of nuclear fusion spent rods and disposal in the eastern region. I don't know, I'm making that up, but that could actually be the title. And so this guy's going around and this computer froze. Well, that's unfortunate. But I can still see this title. So so he's going around saying or stealing luggage. He's going to, and not just one, but two different airports. He's going around stealing luggage. Well, why did they hire him in the first place? For his luggage theft abilities? Probably not. Here it came up finally. We got a slow connection or something. Brinton, that's the guy's name, faces up to 10 years in prison. He's never going to do 10 years. He'll get probation at worst. I mean, it's a luggage thief. Faced up to 10 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. So he that's what he faced. He's obviously guilty. They caught him on tape on the airport security stealing a couple different bags. But it just goes to show you again, this is why you should not hire someone. It's stunt casting. It's a publicity stunt casting for a job. You're hiring for a PR stunt. That's what they did with this guy. And you can see what it resulted in. You hired a guy who never should have been hired. You passed over someone who probably has been working hard their whole life, trying to do their job, doing a great job. But because they're a straight white guy, or they're not gay enough or bi enough or whatever, they don't get hired because you want them to look good in the pamphlet. You want to be able to stand next to them at a press conference and go, I'm so woke. You're an idiot. Just put the country first instead of your leftist PR agenda, because when you don't, you have this happen. According to Clark County, Nevada criminal records, Brinton was ordered to pay $3,600 to the victim. in one case and $500 in additional fees. They got pretty light. And again, it's bad. I say it's just baggage theft, but in leftist America, you can, at least in California, you can steal up to $950 and not even get up so much as a parking ticket. It's a misdemeanor crime. 180-day suspended jail sentence. That's kind of what I figured. But he did lose his job, which is kind of amazing because the Biden administration usually likes to hang on to all their woke hires no matter what. They had one. I did a story on this. Maybe I'll send this one to Mark too. It was a while back, but it was a Department of Defense woman who was making them even buy her own books, and she's very racist against white people, which in Democrat America that's not considered racism for some reason. So she said she said some white woman had the caudacity instead of audacity. Really, really clever there, lady. To question or say that black people could also be racist. By the way, black people can be racist. Anyone can be racist. Racist by definition is making your decisions about someone based solely on the color of their skin. Or you say using words like caudacity. You literally prove your own point in the thing. So does the woman get fired? Could you imagine if any other nationality started throwing around, play on words racism like this lady did? They'd be fired, and justifiably so. It's wrong. Racism's wrong, period, Democrats. I wish I don't know why that's so hard for you to get. It just is. It's not okay against Asians either, which is your new target. So she rather than being fired, they just gave her a new job somewhere, and she's fine. She's just trucking along. Just whatever bogus made up job they gave her so they could keep her on that. They don't have to have a woke firing, Thank God she didn't steal any suitcases too. They might actually let her go. God. Does not make any sense to me. All right, here's another piece. This I swear. I'm like, come on, computer. Oh, did they just sometimes it'll change headlines all in the midst of things. All right, so sour lemon. Don Lemon's another great example of you can't see. I did a story on this, and it's been pretty popular on Don Lemon and CNN. And the irony, I think it's irony, of all these female CNN employees being aghast and upset at Don Lemon's misogynistic behavior that has gone on at CNN for literally decades, from his earliest days at CNN back in, I think, 2006. To right now, and all of it unpunished. I think he had a 3-day vacation, and then he had to take a class, fill in a bubble sheet or something. And so they're all angry about that. How could you? He's so misogynistic and this and that, and this is wrong. And the comedy to me is these women work for CNN. Your network literally does nothing but promote this kind of horse crap everywhere it goes. They want it everywhere. They want it in every corporation. You hire based off race and sexuality, and if there's ever a problem, that's what you default to in determining which side you're going to support, because that's the woke thing, regardless of what they're guilty of. In Lemon's case, being a jackass, being a misogynist, doesn't matter. He's a twofer. He's an African American and he's gay. They're not going to get rid of him. They don't want to be called racist, let alone racist and homophobic. So you ladies, have a nice day. Nothing's going to happen to him, and he's going to keep working there. And it's your own fault because you work for a network that perpetuates this nonsense in the first place. And my point in the in my news thing about it was Don Lemon belongs at CNN. That's where he belongs. That's what this network promotes. That's what this network does. That's what this network spreads. The question is, if you as women are upset about his misogyny being accepted, maybe you're at the wrong network, because the network you're at actively supports that ideology or agenda, woke above all else. So if you have a problem, leave CNN. You're not going to change it, and they're certainly not going to fire him for you because of the very same things that you've been promoting in your newscasts and lavishing praise on companies who do this. But now that it's affected you, you're mad. Sorry. Dummies. Sorry. How are you going to have sympathy for that? You created the problem in the first place, and you spread it like a virus. And now you're mad because it's impacting you, and no one cares because because Don is both African American and gay, and you're just a woman, and women by your own network's promotion don't technically exist. You're just a birthing person, for God's sakes. I can't help. I'm not trying to be a jerk. That's what CNN promotes. And I don't, you're a biological woman. I love women. God bless them. I love everybody. But it's hard to feel bad for you when you yourselves for a living, for a career chose this and to spread this and to disseminate this kind of hogwash. And then you get upset when it comes around and bites you in the butt. All right, CNN's controversial anger, and this is not even what the story is about. That was all a side note. Dear God. CNN's controversial anger is weighing in on the Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light controversy. Well, first off, Dylan Mulvaney, technically not a biological woman, so Lemon might like him or her. You know, he seems to really just hate women. Biological. And, you know, it's comical. But if Bud Light wants to be like, okay, let's have a trans spokesperson, okay. It's not the, you know, whatever, good for you. Have a trans spokesperson. It's just the way that they jammed it down. Not only the way that they jammed it down consumers' throats, but the way they alienated their core drinkers. Like, you know, if you do have a trans spokesperson and you're a company that predominantly doesn't have a trans target audience, well, maybe you just focus the trans spokesperson in, like, say, niche social media ads to target that particular demographic. You don't just tell everybody else they're idiots for wanting, you know, their old style commercials back. And but don't take my word for it. They're down. Their market cap is down like $7 billion since they did this debacle. They're hiding right now. They've got the helmets on their heads. They're ducking. Hey, Mark, good to see you. And they
it's me again. Are we gonna bring the Marlboro Man back? Because I do remember that used to be a commercial. The Marlboro Man.
I love the Marlboro Man.
Bringing the Marlboro Man back in that space. Maybe bring some cigarette advertising back.
Camel Joe, I want back. I want the Marlboro Man. I mean, for smoking and for appealing to kids, I'm not a fan of that. But yeah, those are iconic ads.
They were iconic ads. You know, many people do still watch Tony the Tiger, and definitely that's
Tony the Tiger is another one.
Yeah, those are iconic ads, and of course, you know, some iconic ads. Some people are not the biggest fans of, because, you know, you can still find some commercials that have Aunt Jemima on them, and I do know there's some people that don't like.
They don't really show that anymore, do they? Where are they showing that? I don't feel like that's seen anywhere unless you go to like a YouTube video or something for like.
It's probably just on the YouTube video, but I did see a commercial that you might have found interesting. I'm gonna go bounce back all the way and let you have this lovely monologue of yours. But it was a commercial that was actually from the fine folks at AARP, and it was a commercial about.
What are you saying? How old do you think I am?
I'm
getting up there, Mark. But right now,
with the gray hair and all that. But it was actually an advertisement with a woman that was talking about how she was going to enjoy life because she realized that she was about to be scammed. So it was like a whole commercial about the gift cards and the gift cards that can be out there and used as a scam. So it was actually a warning shot to those that might be
good. I hate people who take advantage of the elderly. To me, they're pretty low on the scale of human evolution. You know, poor old people don't know any better. Give me your social security number and all your money, and I'm gonna send you some gift cards.
But wait a minute, we got two old people that are going to be running for office again. Apparently, they're going to be running against each other. So we got the old folks that are running the country, and
you got Nikki Haley, who Don Lemon apparently believes is past her prime, but then he's a grotesque misogynist. And then Trump's what, 76, 75, and then Biden, dear God. He's going to be like 82.
Yeah, they're both like near 80 or 81, 82, 79. Yeah, they're not exactly spring chickens.
We got DeSantis, though. DeSantis is a relatively young pup, relatively speaking. I mean, I think he's in his late 50s, right? I don't even think they're 60s.
Oh, that just reminded me. I just thought of somebody else that has thrown their name into the hat. And I know that you love the icons of the world, the iconic families, whether that be the Bushes or another one. But I don't know if you paid attention to the news, but we're going to have another Kennedy has jumped into the race. So Mr. Kennedy has jumped into the race and said that he is ready to run for president. So
they're already assassinating him, though. They're already the left media is already assassinating him because he doesn't have a lot. Some of his policies or his stances, especially on vaccines, are the opposite of the left, because he's willing to admit that vaccines can cause injuries and maybe we shouldn't force everyone to take them. That's a big no-no in leftist America. And so they're already pillaring the man and trying to bring him down, as the leftist media does.
They're already going after him.
The right ain't even touching him. This is all and it's all hit pieces right now on the guy since he announced. Yeah. It's all leftist. It's the left eating their own. They don't like this guy. He's got some ideas they don't approve of.
You might be royal family, but we don't like you. And speaking of royalty, exactly. I understand that a royal family member is staying over there where you are in California to take care of their 2 kids because, they went over there to London. They might get assassinated by the London president. But I understand Miss Meghan is going to stay over here and Mr. Harry is going over there for the grand coronation and all in that space. But apparently this book, Spare, was not a nice book. Apparently it didn't have some good words to say. So those folks over there in London are saying, yeah, Meghan, you stay over there in the United States. We don't want you over here.
Yeah, they've fallen off the wagon in terms of like popularity. Like nobody likes them in England, very few, and then even here, people are tired of them. So they've worn out their welcome on both sides of the pond, if you will. And I don't see any possible way of them getting any of that back. I just don't. I think they're has-beens.
Well, speaking of royal has-beens. Speaking of has-beens, there is a certain president, and I might think that he has some policies that could be workable, like student loan forgiveness and like maybe even giving some medical aid, even though some people may not like it, to DACA and other folks. So there could be some things that he has done correctly. But apparently he went over to Ireland and had a gaffe. So apparently he put his foot in his mouth once again.
All he does is he's mentally not there. He's not mentally competent to hold the position that he's currently in. He's not mentally competent to manage a McDonald's. Nothing against McDonald's managers, but maybe a little, I guess. But he is in no position to lead this country. And it just happens again and again and again. And yet, SNL and the news and no one ever covers this stuff. They can't. It's humiliating.
Oh, wait a minute. SNL is our news source? I didn't know SNL was our news.
But it's so liberal. Like, you've got I love comedy, and you've got a gold mine in Joe Biden. Like he's the greatest president in the world to make fun of. And the irony is you're not allowed to make fun of him. And if you try, you're canceled, or your algorithm, whatever your bit is algorithm down so far, nobody ever sees it. And mainstays like SNL that should be making fun of him because he literally daily gives them more material can't touch him because all the woke liberals who run it and who, have such influence in New York. But why don't allow it to happen? If you get one little glancing blow at Biden, you're like, oh, wow.
Why aren't they teaching them in Canada? We have some folks that come to us from the network from Canada, and they did have SCTV, and I think SCTV is still out there and everything, but I haven't seen them tackling them either. So why have the fine folks in Canada been avoiding?
They're just as liberal as Trudeau's a huge liberal. A huge liberal, and you look back at what happened with the truckers taking a stand, and the way they were keeping, again, the news was kind of playing them down, and they took away their ability to raise funds, and it just all this just because they were going against what the leftist ideology at the time of Trudeau, which was all the forced mandatory government overreach, and so yeah, they're extremely liberal over there too. My wife's Canadian, so I know they're very. It's a very liberal crew over there.
There's a liberal crew over there in Canada as well.
Yeah,
I thought they just played hockey all the time.
No, I like it. They're very nice. They're nicer liberals, but they're still liberal. I like Canadians. They're generally very friendly, fun people, but they still.
I'll give it a bounce. But before I bounce, the network earlier today on our news show was teasing the Chinese. They were saying that that China is out to conquer the world, conquer the United States, conquer everybody else. But I just wanted your take as a comedian on China. Do we need to go learn Mandarin? Do we need to get ready to be prepared? Because they were actually talking about BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So apparently these are all folks that are unifying together against us. But I was wondering your take.
Well, yeah, again, this goes right back to Joe Biden. We have such a weak leader that I've said this before. If there was ever a time where you wanted to act poorly as a nation, international nation specifically, now's the time to do it because the guy's asleep at the switch. So not only is Russia invading Ukraine and continuing to invade Ukraine, you've got China basically planning attacks on Taiwan. You've got everybody, all of our enemies lining up against each other, shaking hands, making plans, and Biden just sitting there like, there's no respect for the man. So of course they're laying it all out right now while the getting's good, and they got 2 more years of it with this Yutz. and it's going to get worse before it gets better. And unless, of course, and it's absurd to me that Biden would get reelected, but it was absurd to me that he would be elected the first time. He gets elected again. Oh, we're done.
Well, you know,
4 more years of Biden.
There are people on the other side that say we're done if the other person gets elected too. So maybe we're just done either way. Because I know some folks that are not going to be the happiest. They might even decide to move to Canada if Trump is re-elected or reelected for a second term.
The comedy in that is that if he is reelected, it will be 100% because of the Democrat Party, because of the Democrats like Alvin Bragg and all these other DAs bringing these bogus charges against him, which are building up Trump's momentum, building up his campaign. His campaign didn't launch that great. It wasn't that much excitement about it. I mean, he had his core, but he was only up, I think, a couple points on DeSantis. It was pretty close. Then bang, they indict him. He gets all this TV time. He gets energy and there's a surge in his campaign and there's excitement now. And it was created all by these stupid DAs who think they're getting Trump when Trump's getting them.
I know you're a big fan of DeSantis, and I'm not saying that he's not a good person.
I do like DeSantis
and all that, but I did see that. Well, two things that caught my mind in my news feed was one that Ted Cruz and the coach of the San Antonio Spurs decided to go after each other because one is saying that they're too liberal, and the other saying that they're too conservative. But you know, I like Florida. I've definitely visited Florida occasionally, and need to go back down there and see Miami and South Beach and some of the fun that can take place in that area. But I'm sorry, you know, when I think of Florida, I think of tourism, and DeSantis continues to go after Mickey. So I don't know why DeSantis and Mickey don't like each other.
Well,
but it seems to be a whole battle.
The whole woke thing. It's the whole the woke ideology, and then Disney decided to get all political on him and go against his law or whatever he wanted done in the schools, where they weren't going to teach kindergartners to be trans. But Disney's like, no, they should. So DeSantis is like, oh yeah, okay. Zoink, let's pull some of your special status right out from under you, since you're political now. And Disney themselves got so left that they started tanking. They're bleeding money, and they had to fire a bunch of people. They had to bring back Eisner, I think, right? And fire their current woke CEO. And they still have a bunch of woke movies in the pipeline that are going to tank and eat it. So I mean, they're still not over the hill. So I mean, how do you mess up Disney? Get woke, go broke. It doesn't matter how long you've been Budweiser, Disney. It doesn't matter how big you are. You think you can't be touched by it. It never ends well.
Never ends. And my food's here, so I'm going to let you go back to the cup.
I can't compete with your food. Yeah, Chihuahua. All right, now you got me hungry, Mark. All right, let's keep rocking and rolling. Let's go to the Post. I always love the Post. Let's see what they got to say. This is the leaker. Oh no, it isn't actually. No, it is. Pentagon, a leak suspect, Jax Teixeira, scrambled to contact gamer pals before bust. Oh, brother. Gamer pals. That explains a lot. I don't know, these gamer guys, you know, like, just do this and that. And they you know, they're young. They don't think they'll ever get caught. Yeah, they're too smart. They'll just do this. And no, I did it from a different computer. And
that's what I was referring to. It was the gamer guy that got in trouble. But apparently Marjorie likes the gamer guy. But the gamer guy is how we got all these leaks. Because it was a gamer guy. He was sitting in Discord. He found a bunch of information. And he was going like, hey, nobody will care if I release it.
It's insane. Like, you can't be. Who does he think he is? What's this WikiLeaks guy? I can't. Assange, Julian Assange. He's like the dollar store version. This young kid, and he's screwed. I mean, this is like national security. He's going to jail for a while. You ain't dodging this one, kid.
But how do you even explain? But how do you even explain that? In the jail, you're in there with all them hardened criminals. You're in there with those folks that have done all kinds of crazy actions and everything, and you have to tell them that you are in the prison because you were playing a video game and you stumbled across some classified documents and decided to release it on Discord. I don't know that that's going to play all that well with the hardened criminals. He's going to have to be isolated because these guys they're tough guys with their military guys, and he's basically he's a traitor. But not like you're like, he's a traitor. But technically, he's releasing classified U.S. documents to the world. I guess he didn't take any money for it. I don't know. just gonna ruin his life for nothing. It's sad.
I mean, that's just a dopey kid. That's a sad tale right there.
Maybe he was saying, well, I'm going to let you finish and everything, but maybe he was hanging out too much with Maynard Ferguson and Dobie Gillis and some of those old shows back in the day, because he does look like one of those guys.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, if he was Gomer Pyle, this could be a funny episode where, at the end of the show, it all gets resolved. But this ain't getting resolved with a couple of laughs and a golly. Sorry, Charlie. All right, Kate Middleton blocked Meghan Markle from attending coronation. Yeah, I would assume so. They did not like each other, and with good reason. I don't know how much I love Kate Middleton. I don't really have a problem with her, though, to be honest. But I do not care for Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle she's like a viper. You can't trust her, and I swear she's going to divorce Harry in another year or two, because the money train, the publicity train, the hype train is all falling off the tracks. And that's what she's all about. So I don't see that relationship lasting very long. NBC anchor dies. That's awful. Falling ill on Florida vacation. Well, that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. Cops raid luxury tower, $2 million pad of Cash App stab suspect and sister in death probe. This one's just getting weirder and weirder all the time. So this guy, they're both, the one dude's completely loaded and the other dude's pretty loaded. And then they probably killed him over something. I guarantee something stupid. It always is. It's always something dumb. All right, let me go check out CNN real quick. I always check CNN just to see what they're not covering, what they are covering. They haven't been covering Trump as much because, like I was saying to Mark earlier, I think they realize that it's getting Trump votes. It's getting him support. It's getting him airtime. And also my favorite part is when they cover Trump and like, oh, we're going to get Trump. Trump's just going to talk about whatever he wants to, whatever the news of the day. So in a weird way, Trump is like an anchor because CNN has him on their screen or MSNBC has him on their screen. He'll talk about news that they would normally suppress and not cover. So you actually get more news when Trump is on just talking than you would if you watched a whole day of their newscasts, where you're actually supposed to be getting it. Because he's like, oh, yeah, and by the way, this happened, and how about this, and how come they're not arresting him, and and you're like, go get him. Go get him. Okay, let's check CNN real quick. Here we are. What are they covering? What are they not covering? Okay, Apidemic. Oh, they do. Wait, they do have a Trump one up here. This is unusual. So let's see. They're talking about the guy, this 21-year-old National Guardsman. Ugh, dope. And then the next one to that is Trump. So it says GOP 2024 hopefuls attend NRA convention. Oh, guns, bad. They love to do that. Convention following mass shootings. Yeah, they got to get that in there too. In Kentucky and Tennessee. They'll tell you about Trump and the NRA and this and that, but don't ask the pronouns of the shooter. they protect they're protecting that like it's Fort Knox. Don't ask. Don't talk about it being a trans person. And it doesn't. I in no way think that that's the reason. Like the person was a lunatic, whatever their orientation or whatever it was. But it's just so telling that the leftist media refuses to cover it, buries it, and barely really, as a shooting, covered it very much. They also certainly didn't cover the heroics of the officer who shot and killed her or him. Because that would be pro-police, and again, it goes against the leftist agenda. But Trump will. It's a keep covering him, yeah, dummies. All right, so yeah, there you go for that. Unsealed documents show Daniel Perry. They don't like him either. The Governor Abbott's going to pardon him because a guy raised an AK-47 at him, and he decided to defend himself and live another day. Not allowed to do that. The guy was with Black Lives Matter, who, by the way, can't accept any kind of donations anymore because they're so corrupt, at least in California. Not making that up. Also not covered by the liberal media, not strangely. That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother one we could spend a lot of time on, but you can Google that, or I would DuckDuckGo it. Get better search results. We had BLM so corrupt, and this is nothing. It's not that Black Lives didn't matter. It's just that the Black Lives were limited to their upper management, like Coolers, their co-founder, Patrice Coolers, who just increased her real estate portfolio dramatically, but no relation to any of the missing funds or the fact that they haven't released haven't had a tax release in quite some time. I think they finally did. And I'm not hearing a lot about that, the results of that. Again, the news does not cover what goes against their narrative. And these days, that's just about everything. So That's where we are if you're watching the liberal media, unfortunately for you. Unsealed documents show Daniel Perry made comments on social media about killing protesters and Muslims. Well, that's not good. That ain't good for Daniel Perry. But at the same time, if a guy raises an AK-47 at you, you're allowed to defend yourself. Okay? I'm sorry. If someone takes a loaded AK-47 and points it at you, you're allowed to save your own life. Sorry. If you're surrounded by a group of lunatic leftists who start pounding on your car and you're like, oh my God, this is going to be it, and someone then points a big gun at you, you're allowed to try and live another day. Sorry. Unless you're in Austin, liberal Austin, and then in which case the progressive DA decided to not allow that and have him to try him in the first place, and then with a progressive jury convict him. And so Governor Abbott's going to do the right thing and release him.
It's me again. I got to teach you about something really quickly all in that space. But, there was this group of folks that decided they wanted to protest certain gun rules and certain gun laws and all in that space. They got fired from their job, but then they turned around and they got reelected. So that's what happened in Nashville. So we had
those guys. That was, I said this before. That's the best thing that ever happened to them was them getting kicked out. No one knew who these guys were. Nobody knew who they were. They were nobodies. Nobody. Now everyone's like, oh yes, I still don't know their names, but yeah, so and so. Yeah, these guys are so like from publicity. They should thank God every day they were kicked out. And I think that they were kicked out correctly because it appeared like they were just on bullhorns and screaming and yelling. There's some rules in the chamber. If you don't want to follow them, maybe it's not the job for you. But in the end, it turned out.
They got the job
all right for them.
Justin
they're not hurting.
We got the other guy's name, but they both begin with J. So
you can't remember their names either. But the thing is, at least you know them. You're like those guys. That's a step up from where they were.
I think it's Justin and Jeremiah. I know it's both J's.
That's two J's. I remember that too. But the fact that we both knew them and a week ago,
I had no idea.
It's all good. So it's the best move they ever made. What the investment was like? What, a $30 bullhorn? And they've got political careers now for their lives.
They may be mayor of Nashville next, so we may turn around and see them again at mayor.
They very well could be. Got to take chances in life, kids.
Yep, that's the motto of this. All right, I'm gone again.
All right, buddy. I'm actually got to cut out too, but I've had a great time as always. And my next week may know who these guys are. But I'll take Mark's word for it. Justin and Jeremy. Might be making that up. All right, Mark, I'm cutting out. Have a great week. Great talking to you. Have a great week, everyone. Love each other. Remember, we're all on the same side in the end, even if we don't realize it. And don't trust the left. I don't know if I can say that after all that. But don't. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a great.
How you holding up? Nothing wrong with getting help.
If I promise to look into it, will you drop it and help me build this fence?
Now you need my help.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes.
You know how people love to enjoy food and don't understand how to flavor their food or how to replicate a meal? They're interested in supplements but don't know where to begin? Well, what I do is I take the guesswork out of enjoying flavor and wellness with my flavorful spice blends so that they can create delicious meals with healing benefits. Can Do Spice was created to help cooks at any level enjoy healing through food. Every spice blend was designed to give added health benefits of natural herbs. Every blend is complete. There's no need to add any additional spice for a delicious meal. Saving you time and money while adding supplements to your meals can be both tasty and fun. My earliest memories in the kitchen began with my father, Kenny, Can Do Bond, so it was fitting that I would name this line after him. I have always looked to natural remedies to supplement the body, and I found myself hiding herbs and minerals in foods for my family. That's when it hit me. Everyone needs Can Do Spice. Everyone should be having this. It's an exclusive brand for cooks at any level who want to create flavorful dishes with healing benefits that can satisfy the body and soul. Add a little spice to your life. Give Can Do Spice a try.